Hello and welcome. It's so wonderful to connect with you today. My name is Ram-Inder, and I want to say a quick thank you and well done for being here. Today, I'm going to take you through the 5 shifts to transform stress and struggle into happiness, radiant health, and empowered living. Then you're going to be able to enjoy your success without burnout and learn to flourish during these crazy, challenging times. Now, as I don't have you for very long today, and you're probably very busy and sick and tired of being sick and tired, we're just going to dive straight in. So, this webinar is for stressed out healthcare providers, business owners, corporate management that have been in the clutches of stress and burnout. So, if you're feeling overworked, run ragged, and not loving your life, maybe you've got a job that you should love, but you're just not able to because you're too tired. Maybe you hate your career. And if you feel like you're just ready to swap anger and worry and exhaustion for vitality and inner peace and true happiness, and enjoy your success without burnout, then this is for you. In the next 45 minutes, we're going to go over how to quickly release negative emotions like frustration, self-doubt, and anxiety, how you can create high levels of inner peace and resilience under all intense life situations, and gain the energy and drive that you need to achieve your goals and learn how to break through self-sabotaging behaviors that are draining your energy and driving you insane. We're going to learn how you can overcome suffering. And by suffering, I mean anger, digestive issues, menopause, depression, panic attacks, backache, low self-esteem, basically any disharmony. So even if you've spent thousands on self-help books and programs and retreats and therapists, we're also going to go over how you can free yourself from waking up exhausted and with that sense of dread and panic for the day ahead. How you can say hello to your mornings feeling energized, excited, and confident that you've got everything you need for a successful career, high energy relationships, and a fulfilling personal life. And the secrets to getting the right kind of relaxation, because then that's going to ignite your self-healing mechanisms, and this is going to help you to boost your immune system, repair everything down to the cells, and rejuvenate your whole life. So my promise to you today is a step-by-step strategy to shift your stress, burnout, and overwhelm into happiness, radiant health, and empowered living. If you're thinking this sounds crazy and completely unachievable, the only way that would happen is if I left my job, won the lottery, took some drugs, moved to a desert island. Don't worry, I'm going to reveal how you can uncover your natural way of being, which is calm, joyful, and abundant. But before we get to the good stuff, I just want to check in with you and see where you're at. Can you relate to this? Does this sound like you? Are you currently waking up exhausted and feeling this sense of dread rather than gratitude and excitement for the day ahead? Do you find your thoughts and emotions are driving you mad? They're holding you back, making you miserable, and draining your energy? Do you keep on getting sick and exhausted? Doesn't matter how much sleep you have, what vitamins or superfoods you take, or how much coffee or energy drinks you have, you're still just exhausted. And do you feel like your social life sucks? So you've barely got enough energy for work and for your obligations, and there's just nothing left for you afterwards. And do you feel like you're at the mercy of your emotions and you're sometimes easily triggered by people or a lot of the crazy world events that are going on? And do you feel like your success has come at the high price of your health and your relationships? And it's just not fulfilled you in the way that you imagined? And you sometimes wonder how much longer you can cope with this relentless pressure and worry that there's no way out of this suffering? Well, the good news is You do know, because deep down, you know there's a better way because you're here listening to this. And all the things we talked about are just symptoms. The real problem is that you haven't made these 5 shifts. So once you make these 5 shifts, you're going to wake up feeling energized, waking up before the alarm, no snooze button required. You're going to feel excited and grateful to start the day. It's going to feel like stress and anxiety have been lifted from your shoulders, and you're going to feel peaceful and in control for the first time in years. You're going to attract more abundance and positive people and new opportunities into your life. And people are just going to start seeing you differently as a confident leader and start asking, what have you been doing? And your natural radiance and charisma are going to shine through. So this means that your relationships are going to hit new heights, and you're going to have far less trigger buttons, which means you're going to bounce back really quickly. So if something or someone does hit you off center, it's easier to come back into alignment, back into this inner peace and this resilience. And you're going to be able to leave work at work, and your free time is going to be about relaxing and having fun and not being in a constant state of stress. Then you can create a life of excellence. So you've got the energy, the vision, and the determination to pursue your goals. And you're going to feel more passion and excitement with life. And this is going to make you more confident, feel more powerful, productive, and successful. So before we get into the 5 shifts, just a little bit about me. So I began working life in the corporate world, and then I moved into accountancy, and I experienced super high levels of stress and overwhelm and burnout. It was relentless. I suffered from workaholism, this need to prove myself, stuck in people pleasing, had no boundaries, and those work hard and struggle patterns. And I had so much wrong with me back then. Backache, neck ache, well, everything hurt really most days. Tinnitus, PTSD, depression, anxiety. It was just a really long list of things. And I was so exhausted. I felt often like I was going to pass out, but I still couldn't stop working. But what was worse than all of that was when I became self-employed, because I thought it was the rat race that was the issue. I fell deeper into burnout. And it was really shocking to realize that it wasn't the insanity of the rat race that was the issue. I mean, it didn't help, but it was me. Yeah, so that was fun. But back in 1997, my negative mindset and spiraling negative thoughts, just having enough of that and some other life events ignited my search to eliminate my suffering, because I just knew that it didn't have to be this hard. And then once I figured my own way out, I really felt like I had to stick my hand back into the fiery pits of hell to help others, because otherwise I would have felt like Father Christmas on Christmas Eve, keeping all the presents to himself. So during those few decades, I tried so many different therapies, but nothing ever really gave me the results that I wanted. And so I've spent the last few decades researching what gives clients and myself outstanding results that last. And so I now offer a very unique blend of healing modalities that incorporate the entire biosystem, so that your body, mind, emotions, energy system, and spirit all come into alignment for that deep and lasting change. And I also work on the principle that self-mastery and self-realization are our natural way of being, because this shaves decades off your growth journey. So now I partner with clients to get to the root of their suffering and resolve imbalances such as anger, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, money blocks, scarcity, not having enough, that negative monkey mind, time management or time mastery, trauma, grief, PMT, menopause. Because menopause is actually a time in women's life where we can completely remake ourselves, but in the West it's become something very negative and something to be ashamed about. So headaches, digestive issues, which aren't normal, and they're often quite easy to clear up. And so basically clearing imbalances and increasing happiness, vitality, that sense of freedom and resilience and harmony. So discovering the 5 shifts. Now, these 5 vital shifts are going to help you to liberate yourself from the torment of suffering and chaos so that you can enjoy an abundant life of love, vitality, freedom, and fulfillment. I'm going to walk you through all 5 on this session now. Shift 1 is for you to give the resounding yes, saying to yourself, I am fixing this now, so that you can activate, elevate, and liberate yourself. So this first shift begins with a resounding yes, which is a declaration to address the root of your challenges and suffering. Now, rather than saying, I'll do it later, I'm fine, and getting lost in this seemingly normal whirlwind of busyness and avoidance. And I'd like to just invite you to take a moment and feel the difference between saying, yes, I'm sorting this out now. It feels exciting. There might be some nerves, but it feels exciting. It feels full of possibilities. You can feel that expansion, which helps our hearts to open. And then if you feel like, I'll try and do it, you can feel, hopefully you can feel that subtle difference between that's I'll try means you're not really committed. If things get tough, you'll probably give up. And then the last one, if you say to yourself, I'll do it later, that feels like that's a betrayal of yourself. And it causes this deep wounding. And a lot of people who have anxiety and depression, this is where the roots of this come from. And it's going to lead to lethargy, and all kinds of ill imbalances in the body. So have you noticed how some people seem to have it all and they're really happy and carefree? And some of the reasons that we don't fix things is because we believe we can't, or it's going to be too hard, maybe low self-esteem, self-doubt, fear of failure, fear of rejection, and actually fear of success is one of the biggest ones I'm finding is coming up with people these days. Now, all these things are all lies from the lower mind or the conditioned mind or our ego. Now, it's the mind's job to keep you alive, and it does this by keeping you in the familiar. Doesn't care if you're sick or miserable, depressed. It would rather be in the known, and it has this deep fear of change. And so most minds will choose certainty over uncertainty, even if they're sick or exhausted or angry or miserable. Now you will notice I love my memes. So our minds get stuck in these coping stories, which sound like I'm fine when really we're under crushing pressure. This sucks and I can't do anything about it. It could be worse. Others have it worse. So in stress and burnout, your rhythms and your patterns that sustain you and keep you in clarity and vitality and this capacity to keep up and love your life, well, they all lock and atrophy. So then our response to situations, we tend to make things worse rather than taking intelligent, inspired and creative action. So then we get on this hamster wheel of making more and more bad choices. And then often we fall into self-medicating. So overusing things like caffeine, sugar, alcohol, drugs. And then they've all got their own rhythm, which are not usually in line with vitality and abundance and inner peace. Now, some of the main reasons that we don't fix our problems, the first one is the time zone escape. So we haven't actually made the decision to fix it yet. Now, this sounds like I'll do it tomorrow. So you can take the pressure off the fact that you're seriously damaging your health by saying, I'll do it tomorrow or I'll do it next week. But then we all know tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is a lie. And an example of this, and there's no judgment here because I used to smoke, smokers who are diagnosed with cancer, a massive 64% carry on smoking after the diagnosis, which is just heartbreaking. And stress studies show that the 6 leading causes of death are attributed to stress, and the American Medical Association credits stress at being at the root of over 75% of all diseases and illnesses. So what happens is we're all making these micro decisions of our slow down tomorrow, and this is what's leading to the strokes and the heart attacks. And so many people are spending years or even decades unfulfilled, exhausted, and angry, and they don't realize how easy it is to shift and how quickly it can happen. And there's a great body of work by Dr. David Hawkins. He was an enlightened MD, and he used to say how workaholism is actually a slow suicide. Yeah, so that was that had me worrying for about a week when I first discovered that. So the second main reason we don't solve our problems is fear and apathy. So the mind's job is to keep us alive, and it thinks it's doing a great job, doesn't care if you're sick or miserable, as long as you're in the familiar, this prison of the comfort zone. And most minds are going to choose misery over uncertainty. Now, apathy is a silent killer that robs you of your health, your wealth, and your joy. And what's happening is we're becoming so desensitized to our pain because we live it every day. Probably our parents have been doing it as well, and have probably surrounded ourselves with others doing the same. So it all seems perfectly normal. But there's always a way out for the committed, and it's going to be much easier than you think. And once you start, you'll wonder why you didn't do it years ago. Now, the last one is this hidden self. We get into these self-hypnotic trances, and the hidden self is like the pain of the past that we haven't resolved, and it's got this hidden agenda which is never for your highest good. It's based on beliefs of the self and the world which were acquired at an early age or through trauma or stressful situations, and it's influencing us without us even knowing. And now neuroscientists have shown that we're not aware of a staggering 95% of unconscious brain activity. So what that means is all that garbage, the pain of the past, is feeding our conscious thoughts and emotions and actions and habits and behavior. So it's vital that we break the imagery that was imprinted through these self-hypnotic trances in childhood. And then you can stay in an absolutely non-reactive state. You can keep your heart center open. You can relate to life and people beyond the pain or fear of those old imprints. And you can start releasing these patterns of scarcity, not feeling good enough, and the self-punishment patterns that have us convinced that we need to trash our health to be successful. So the resounding yes. Now, stress and burnout prevent you from accessing your full potential. But first, you need to recognize that you've got a problem. So taking charge now, which is really going to empower yourself. And when we haven't made this internal decision, it shows up as self-punishment programs, addictions, exhaustion, anger, self-hatred, digestive issues, anxiety, food intolerances, allergy, having to use alcohol to cope, depression, feeling numb, feeling unfulfilled. Basically, you get the picture, any imbalances or disease. So we must restore our healthy algorithms so that your mind, body, and spirit can achieve their unlimited potential. So we've got to recognize that we have a problem, then take radical responsibility for it, decide to fix it, yes, commit, and then take intelligent, inspired action. Now, sometimes we need a little bit of help. making that resounding yes, because we can have so much resistance and be so stuck in our patterns, especially if they're things that we've inherited from our parents. And we're going to go into more of this at the end, but I just want to share with you this amazing client. Maxine had decided enough was enough and gave that resounding yes, and she made these incredible shifts in just 5 sessions. So that was 2 months, and it's always so divine to witness clients making really simple changes and getting profound transformations. Now, when I met Maxine, she was struggling with a big relationship breakdown. She was exhausted, had lack of confidence, trouble setting boundaries, and some really deep emotional issues that were both current and historic. And she'd already tried self-help books, general exercise, talking therapies, and had seen a Chinese doctor. But after working with her for a few months, the digestive issues, aches and pains, migraines completely disappeared. Her immune system is stronger, sinuses massively improved, physical issues eliminated. She had greater self-awareness and new coping mechanisms for this crazy world. And she had the ability to see things differently, because sometimes all it takes is a shift of perspective. And that meant having more inner peace and acceptance of herself. She feels a lot stronger and energetic, doesn't get fazed by life's ups and downs, clear-headed, generally very happy, and regularly told she's glowing, looking really well, and very calm. Amazing, eh? So for this step, you might need courage for the first few steps, just so that you can gain some momentum. But luckily, your true nature, what we're uncovering under all that pain, is fearless. And one coach said to me years ago, no one's coming to save you. It's all on you. If you don't change, your life won't change. And it was quite daunting at first. But we're really moving out of these times of suffering. And now we have this amazing opportunity to let our power protect us, not our fears. And because most of these patterns that are keeping us in this state of suffering, a lot of them happen before the age of 7. So I know for myself, I had a 5-year-old making most of my decisions in my life, which explained why it was such a mess. And 2 wonderful questions, which I love, which you might want to ponder on later after this. What is the cost of you not going all in and fixing this? And what amazing things are going to happen in your life when you do? The second shift, I love this one. I love them all. Well, the first one is the hardest one. Once you've made that one, it's going to be much easier from there on. The second shift is to establish holistic harmony for unconditional happiness and deep inner peace. Now, as you're probably aware, we are complex beings, and as such, we require a truly holistic system that covers your whole biosystem to tackle disharmony. And by acknowledging the inseparable relationship of the body, mind, and soul and nature, we're able to activate our natural self-healing capacity. I love my memes. So we've got to get away from this cookie cutter approach, because one size does not fit all. And this is the danger with social media and the internet and so-called experts. So self-diagnosis or food science in the wrong hands is causing a lot of problems. And even really, really healthy people are causing serious disharmony to their bodies. So the ones that are going to the health food shop and the superfoods and the supplements, all these new fads, Ayurvedic doctors and Chinese doctors are making fortunes off them, because we haven't got this awareness of the full picture. And it's vital that we restore balance from a holistic point of view. And sadly, even though we have some incredible systems that have withstood the test of time over thousands of years, many holistic practitioners aren't offering their holistic therapies in a holistic way. So things like depression, chronic fatigue, eczema are vastly different in each person, and as such all require a completely different treatment program. So to explain this to you, I want to give you the example of Liz. So your stomach and spleen energy, this is a term that we have in Chinese medicine, it gets absolutely trashed by aspects of modern life. So chronic stress, worry, anxiety, negative thoughts, overthinking, overworking, and hyperactivity had trashed every level of Liz's being, like physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. It caused digestive problems, food allergies, mental health issues, poor immune function. She was always getting sick, anxiety, worry, and there was just a really, really long list. And she was really exhausted, but she couldn't go to bed early. And I used to have this as well. And she had tried a Western doctor, mindset coach, sleeping tablets, antidepressants, psychotherapists, meditations, counseling, hypnotherapy, nutritionists, Chinese doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, Reiki, and some other bits. So some of those things did actually help for a short period, but it didn't get to the root of the issues. So when I worked with her, we balanced the earth element, which is this stomach and spleen energy that I mentioned, so that she was naturally relaxed at bedtime. But one of the key things that was missed with the other practitioners was that they didn't release these self-punishment patterns that have been running since childhood. So she felt guilty for something that she did, and this created a subconscious desire to suffer. So we just did really simple things with her, some simple dietary additions and delicious things as well. No icky wheatgrass shots, and hats off to you if you like those. And they were easy things to find as well. There was no eye of newt or an eyelash of a virgin picked on a full moon. It's just kitchen things that you have in your cupboard, in your fridge, and things that you can find in local shops. So when the earth element is balanced, it is absolute ecstasy. There's no words to describe this. It's like the most deepest loving hug, and it's really warm and it radiates through your cells, and it's verging on orgasmic, and I'm not even exaggerating a little bit. And who doesn't want that? So after several months, as you can see, she got incredible results and has been able to stay and continuously build on what we created together. So confidence, more productive, because she was having terrible trouble focusing at work. She's got more energy, she's not getting sick, and she is loving life. And she was hating it, and she hasn't actually changed her job. It's just clearing away all that garbage and bringing the whole system into balance. She now loves her job. So, oh, sorry. So liberating yourself. By restoring our natural rhythms, we can evoke these feelings of love and unity in that orgasmic ecstasy. And there's so many really simple things that you can do, mindset techniques or meditations that totally shift your perspective. You can go from, I hate this, this sucks, into, oh, this is a blessing, this is amazing, I'm going to love this. Really simple breath work that can take like 1 to 3 minutes. And as I mentioned, some simple dietary changes can have profound effects on things like anxiety and rage. One of the things that we have to watch out for is there's just so many fads all over the internet, and ignoring this time-tested wisdom. Now, I've got loads and loads of case studies from clients who had listened to a so-called expert or social media rather than following their intuition. Now, you can be forgiven for not following your intuition to begin with, because when we're out of balance, like attracts like. So we tend to get attracted to things that just make our issues even worse. So this client, she went to a food nutritionist. She had problems with her eyes, and she was told to eat avocados, which in theory do help, but she had high pitta, so it's high fire, so inflammation in her body, and her liver was overloaded with so much anger and emotional issues. So the things that the food nutritionist gave her actually made things worse. So her period problems, acne, skin rashes, she was so angry, she was shouting at her children and her husband, which then filled her with self-loathing and guilt. But again, just 2 months after taking out what was causing the issues, and often you can reintroduce them later once you've established balance, but she's much calmer, no more angry outbursts, and no cramps, period cramps or anything like that, and her skin is glowing. And the great news is that you don't need to spend 10 years studying to become an Ayurvedic doctor or a Chinese doctor. The basics are very, very quick to learn. And I just want to give you another example of Victoria. So she is a director, working mum, very, very busy, didn't think she had time to invest in changing her life. She'd been doing hatha for about 20 years, taking herbs, Reiki, homeopathy, and other spiritual practices. But after a few months, she went through these dramatic, life-changing transformation and got these incredible results. So her confidence has massively improved, cleared the persistent sore throats and the illnesses and the colds and the hives. She gets fabulous sleep now, and she was so tired she couldn't function, but now she's very energized, much more positive, and she's like sunshine now. And now all she does, she's just got a 10-minute meditation to maintain those results, which is amazing. The third shift is to understand and unleash your core energy. It's vital that you have a framework to support you in challenging times, and one that's going to set you up for success. Your core energy determines your life potential and how you view the world. It determines your emotions, the opportunities you attract, your bank balance, your earning potential, your social life, your career, whether you have toxic or healthy relationships, your habits, thoughts, perceptions, perceived failures, relationships, beliefs, past experiences. They all are creating results in your environment right now. So it's vital that you understand and manage your own energy and the impact that it has on the various aspects of your life, and to recognize that everyone, including you, has this unlimited potential, but we might be held back by negative energy patterns. Uncover your inner superhero. Now, your core energy is the fundamental life force that influences how you perceive and engage the world. And when you harness it effectively, it completely transforms all areas of your life. And your level of energy is going to determine your success in your life, in your career, in your relationships, in your golf game, everything. And therefore, it's vital that you align your core energy to success, vitality, love, and abundance. And as a business owner or a leader, you're able to elevate your decision making, foster deeper, authentic relationships. And this is going to help you and your team to drive innovation. And then you're going to create an extraordinary and thriving business environment that's going to surpass expectations, and you can create your own economy. So it doesn't matter what the rest of the world is doing, even if your country is currently in a recession. And one of the systems that I use was actually recommended in Forbes as something that every executive should use, and it's utilized by companies. There was Boeing, IKEA, the United States Coast Guard, and royalty. So to give you an example of this, what does it look like in your life? So this is going to help you move from fear and being stuck and feeling like you can't change things into resilience and feeling control and this sense of personal empowerment. Inefficiency is going to go to productivity, getting more done, getting better results for the work that you are doing. Chronic stress is reduced, going to clear that money karma drama, that I've not got enough. And some people, they earn lots, but they don't tend to have any spare. So this really helps you with financial security and success. If you've been feeling numb and unfulfilled, this is going to help you move into feeling really content and loving life. It will dramatically improve your health and your emotional well-being, and you're going to be able to be this powerful and inspirational leader that you were born to be. And you're not going to have to use fear or anger or negative manipulation to motivate your employees. It's going to be easier for you to achieve your goals and maybe set some really big, scary ones and achieve that work-life harmony. And Marie, she is so brave and courageous now. She was really at the mercy of whatever life was throwing at her, being knocked around, and her inner revolution really shows the transformative power of understanding this core energy and tapping into your core leadership potential, because everyone is leading, whether they choose to recognize it or not. And if you haven't, then you're leading by default. So she said that it was the key step that she needed to start living a life with confidence and power. And she was able to accept who she really was and find peace and joy in the process of life, rather than this sucks, I hate this, it's so unfair. And it's really been very humbling and exciting to see her rocket to such great heights. And yeah, she really has gone for it and is really flourishing now. So that's beautiful. So we need to make sure that the ripples that we're sending out into the world aren't exhaustion, anger, and worry. And when you activate your core energy, you're going to increase your revenue, you're going to have more contentment in life and have greater impact and high energy relationships. So I'll just do a little quick recap. So shift 1, give the resounding yes, saying, yes, I'm fixing this now, recognizing that you have a problem, taking radical responsibility for it and deciding to fix it, committing to that and taking intelligent, inspired action. Then establish this holistic harmony for radiant health, unconditional happiness, and inner peace. So avoiding those fads, listening to time-tested wisdom and your deep well of intuition. And then understanding and unleashing your core energy and aligning that core energy to success, vitality, love, and abundance. Now, let's look at how you can accelerate your growth and the growth of those around you. The 4th shift, I'd like to invite you to take a long, slow, deep breath into your belly. Inhaling, belly expands. Exhaling, belly comes back to the spine. Just take a few long, slow, deep breaths. The 4th shift is the essential realization that true happiness is not an emotion that you feel because of an external situation or object, relationship, or activity. It's something that comes from within. Now, one of my enlightened teachers said, I'm going to explain this to you and I'm going to fail because the ego or the limited mind can't understand this. We can only experience it. But I'm going to do my best for you today. Normally my classes are more about you experiencing this, but we're slightly different today. So this shift is the natural conclusion of the other shifts, but don't wait to start using this direct path. Now, all minds are seeking happiness and inner peace and to reduce suffering, but it's this seeking and looking outside ourselves that's causing all our problems. Now, we have two aspects to the self. We've got the limited self, which is what we've been talking about, the ego, which is controlled by the pain of the past. And this is the one that causes the suffering, diseases, playing small, and emotional reactivity. And it even hides how bad you are, and it loves the jail cell of the comfort zone. And then the other self is our true nature, which is this unlimited self and our natural way of being. Now, this might be difficult to understand if you're quite new to this path, but it is unconditional joy and fearlessness and imperturbable peace. And by being present in the moment, this allows us to break free from this never-ending loop of suffering that the mind takes us on. Now, the mind is supposed to be our servant, but for most of us, it's a tyrant driving us insane. Now, what does it look like when you have it? If you ask anyone who's made it in the Western sense, if their success was on a material basis, the happiness was very short-lived, and there was probably a priceless payoff. Maybe they trashed their adrenals, they've got health problems, probably sacrificed important relationships and joy, and not really loving life. So when we're in our true nature, we feel, just remember back, because even if in the foreground of your experience is anxiety and depression, there's going to be moments where you recognize this. So feeling at ease within yourself, maybe social events, meetings, especially where you're out your comfort zone. And you know that feeling of when you're in the zone and you're just doing something and you're completely present and you're on fire and you're moving through it in grace, ease and flow. Also our intuition, when we're in this state, our intuition is incredible. So that makes sure that we make good decisions. And that's especially important in intimate relationships where we're getting so much closer with people. We've got a lot on the line, and in business as well. And you'll get a really strong sense of whether to push someone away when you meet someone new or whether you want to bring them closer. And you're going to be more abundant. So we're not talking about prosperity, money here. And now I know you can pay great staff to anticipate your needs before you even know that you need them, but there's something really magical about being in the flow and things just arriving before you even know you need them, and being fully present. So not letting that insane monkey mind take you on spirals of inner turmoil. And often I find with most clients, breath is the easiest way. I mean, technically speaking, we don't need to notice, we don't need to do anything to bring ourselves into this state. But when we first start, I normally give people stuff to empty out the subconscious mind. So the first two shifts that we did are gonna really, first three shifts are really gonna help with this. So then you can say goodbye to the work hard and struggle patterns. And you know that there's like a competition to see who's worked the most hours or who's the most tired. We need to let go of all of that. So all we need to do is to recognize that our true nature, our true being, is unconditional happiness and inner peace, which sounds really easy, yeah? And if it was that easy, everyone would be living the life of their dreams, and it's just not really, it's not really worked out like that, has it? Now, this is because, as I've mentioned several times before, the mind loves familiarity, and it will choose misery over uncertainty. Now, the big issue is that the mind, even when we get on the path of self-growth or spiritual development, there are now thousands and thousands of ego-driven or mind-driven therapies, and our mind loves them. It loves nothing more than getting caught up in self-help books, courses, meditations, therapies, apps, retreats, because it's satisfying this the human need for growth, but it's not getting to the root of the issue. Now, this explains why the wellness industry is worth a staggering $4.3 trillion annually, but most people aren't happy. They're not living the life they love, and this is because the roots of the issues are ignored. Now, as there isn't time to give you an experience of this today, I'm just going to give you a little example. Now, this is Mark, and this is a picture of him levitating in one of our sessions. So Mark is a high-achieving business owner, constantly chasing success. He was really caught up in this material gain and this need for recognition, and that exhausting need to prove himself to his hypercritical parents left him with serious burnout and some very serious health issues. And he was just stuck in this never-ending cycle of frustration, needing to control things, striving for the next victory, never enjoying any victories that he did have. And this all left him feeling empty and depressed and exhausted. And each of his clients were like his over-demanding parents, who were obviously, they loved him and were well-meaning, but where that nothing was ever good enough, it just left him feeling crushed and exhausted by life. And again, he'd tried counseling and vinyasa, ashtanga yoga, and hot yoga, which actually isn't very good for burnout. It dries out our joints and makes them all crunchy. And if we've got too much heat, we're already a bit dry and we don't have enough fluids. And he'd also tried antidepressants. But again, after working with him for, we had 4 months together, he was able to be present and in the moment, which meant that he could do far less work and earned more money. So he's able to let go of that work hard and struggle thing that a lot of us have attracted or taken on from our parents. And he started attracting completely different clients. So they were really grateful, they were very kind, always giving him praise. And this helped him to rediscover his passion for work. So then he produced, it just kind of spiraled up. So producing much better results for clients. And he released all that really heavy energy of needing to prove himself. And this allowed him to just unleash these deeper creative energies and abilities. So then his business really skyrocketed, despite other competitors in the same industry were really suffering in the bad, air quotes, bad economy. Now, this part of your wellness journey is essential, and you need to make sure that you don't waste years looking for something outside yourself that you're never, ever, 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 ever going to find. And the last shift that we have today is to invest in mentoring. In shift 1, we were speaking about making that resounding, yes, I'm taking action now. But sometimes we need help to get to that point. And even when we are experienced practitioners, we still have these blind spots. And we all know how much easier it is to tell someone else what they need to do rather than sorting out our own mess. Now, a great mentor is going to partner with you. So they're going to help you transform your stresses and curses and pain into your greatest strengths and blessings and gifts. They're going to help you go for those seemingly impossible goals. They're going to be your biggest cheerleader and celebrate and champion and support you. They're going to help you operate at your peak state and stop self-sabotaging. They're going to provide that essential accountability to help you keep moving forwards, and they have a community of like-minded people to support your growth, because sometimes when people come to this path, they tend to have a lot of toxic people in their life, and they don't really know many people who are nice and lovely and kind to them, and help you conquer fear, which is the biggest obstacle to change. So seemingly harmless thoughts like it's normal, I'm fine, I'll do it later, um, are all fear operating in the subconscious. And there's a term in yoga, Sat Chit Ananda, so truth, knowledge, bliss. Now, the nature of reality is bliss, joy, and ecstasy. And what's amazing is you don't need to be a yogi in a cave to experience this. It's available to all of us. But the first step is commitment. And that's actually the first step to happiness as well. So they're also going to help you break through your blocks and discover your pure, unlimited potential. So you might have stuck energy or stuck patterns, and they're going to be manifesting as unhealthy relationships that you can't leave. And we don't always need to leave them, actually. Often I'm finding with clients and with myself, when you shift, the other person shifts. There's just a lesson for you to learn there, and it's quite it's amazing. Perhaps a mindset that imprisons you in negative thinking, a life stage or identity that you can't let go of, some unfulfilled dreams. Maybe you're in a job that you hate and you really want to open a vineyard or a wine shop. Anxiety, depression, disease, physical imbalances, so things like menopause. And as I mentioned, that's seen as something negative in the West, but it really is this amazing opportunity for women to completely remake themselves and shift and just get so much more out of life. And also struggling with big life transitions, so maybe unable to leave a toxic job. Now, could you fix it yourself? Maybe. You're never going to be able to get the results that you would with a mentor. You're not going to be able to move as quickly. And could you do it yourself? Yeah, possibly. But if you could have, you probably would have done it already, because a lot of these things really suck. Plus, you might not have the time to spend decades on studying and researching. And also, most of the great stuff that I pass on to my clients isn't in books, it's not online, it's passed from teacher to teacher, or it's born in the moment based on what the client needs there and then. So when you get the right kind of help, it's going to shave decades or even lifetimes off your growth path. It's going to help you avoid the pitfalls and uncover your own unique path to help you flourish in life. And some of this stuff that's been weighing you down, it could be 10 generations old, so it can be quite deeply rooted in people. So love my memes. Another mentor, so a great mentor is going to help you transform deteriorating mental health and emotional breakdowns into resilience and emotional well-being, and that deep inner peace. Brain fog and fatigue is going to move into productivity and focus. That scarcity and worry is going to move into financial stability and abundance. And you're going to be able to create that fulfilling work-life harmony. And you're going to be able to reclaim your well-being over burnout. And that's on an emotional, physical, energetic, mental, and spiritual level. And you're going to learn to flourish during these wild, unpredictable, and crazy times. Now, Anne, when I started working with her, she was struggling with fear and anxiety. And she said, I felt paralyzed, stuck, was having anxiety dreams, feeling out of control and stressed, working long hours, and feeling like she wasn't getting anywhere. And then last year we did a group program, and she almost didn't do it because she just lost her mum and she was really busy and overwhelmed with work. But that is always precisely why we must do these things. All the excuses that we come up with to not take action are precisely why we need to do it. So she'd come to a few group classes beforehand, but in the program there was just six group sessions, and she had a one-to-one, and she said by the end, I felt fearless and applied for a big new job and got it. And she had significant shifts in terms of fear and anxiety. And she feels it's important to give yourself the time and space that you need to do this. And for her, the energy shift was most important. It was exactly what she needed. And it really was amazing to see her getting so much happier, so much more radiant and flexible each week. And her smile just kept on getting bigger and bigger and radiating through her whole being and into her life. So now's the time to stand up and be brave, and also to acknowledge that you are a powerful force in the world. It's why we chose to be here now, and your participation is required to turn around this crazy and beautiful world. And you don't have to figure it all out on your own, because it's a lot. Yeah. Yes. Today I promised how you can transform deteriorating physical, mental and emotional health so that you can show up focused, passionate and highly productive, how you can move up the career ladder without sacrificing your joy and your relationships and your health, how you can reclaim well-being over burnout so that you have the energy, motivation and grit to pursue your goals, and how you can eliminate those work hard and struggle patterns, and then you'll enjoy a harmonious work-life balance, and how you can awaken your inner wellspring of vitality, how to align your core energy to success, vitality, love and abundance, so then you can create an extraordinary and thriving business environment that surpasses your expectations, and you can be the impactful leader that you were born to be, and feel really great about who you were and what you're doing, and know without doubt that you can withstand the pressure of the times and thrive. So what do you need to win? A little recap. Give the resounding yes. Yes, I'm fixing this now, recognizing that you have a problem, taking radical responsibility for it, decide to fix it, and commit to that, and then take intelligent, inspired action. Shift 2, establish holistic harmony for unconditional happiness and inner peace. 3, understand and unleash your core energy and align it to success, vitality, love, and prosperity. 4, the essential realization that happiness is what you are. It's not an emotion from an external event. And 5, invest in mentoring so you can accelerate yourself out of the pain of the past and start loving life on a much deeper level. Now, these 5 keys alone are enough to propel you towards happiness, radiant health, and empowered living. Now you have a choice. You can ignore everything I've said today and go on as you have been, staying stuck in these habits that are preventing you from living a life that you love. Or you can say, yes, I can show up for myself in a really powerful way. I can have a life I love. It's your birthright. Now, we just have 2 things to do while we're here on earth. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of those long to-do lists that you have. So these 2 things. Step 1, be happy. And step 2, express your own unique version of that in the world. So whether you are an artist, CEO, business owner, banker, baker, candlestick maker, it doesn't matter. It's just expressing what it is, what's your deepest desire. And if you feel like that's for you, here's how I can help. So my team and I have set aside some time in the next week to speak to you personally about how you can apply these steps in your life today. Now, on the call, We're going to create a plan so that you can move out of this relentless crushing pressure that's trashing your health and put an end to the not enough time or not enough money or feeling like I am not enough, and to help you relieve that loneliness caused by pretending that everything's okay when really you're crumbling inside, and get you waking up feeling energized, empowered, and excited to start the day, and how you can bring more peace, joy, and abundance in your life. Now, the cost of this is it's absolutely free, but there is a catch. It's not for everyone. This is for you if you are absolutely sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're ready to shift and move in the right direction. You must have had enough of dabbling and gathering more information, researching, hoping things will get better, and procrastinating. And you must want to really commit to freeing yourself from the pain of the past, of never having enough time and just pretending that everything's okay. And you must really want to develop these new muscles for inner peace and joy and fearlessness and having more energy. So if you feel like this is for you, please feel free to book a session now. Now, why am I doing this? Well, the world is in, as you might have noticed, chaos, and there's just so much suffering right now, even from people who seem to have it all. And most don't realize how quickly they can change. Now, for myself, I spent years suffering unnecessarily because I couldn't find my way out of the anxiety, the exhaustion, and the depression. Plus, I love giving back and helping people achieve their goals. And I love connecting with people who are on a similar path to me. And I know that you might want our help to help transform your life. If that's the case, we can discuss it and see if it's a good fit for you. If not, that's great too. But either way, you'll still get massive value from the call. So if you want to book a call with me, please click on the link below. Please make sure that you fill out the application form so we can get the most out of our time together. You'll be taken to my calendar where you can pick a time that works for you. Otherwise, it's been so great to share this with you. If we don't connect again, I want to wish you the very best on your journey to wellness. Otherwise, I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take the very best of care of yourself, and goodbye for now.